Hello and welcome. Welcome to Everything is Energy. Welcome to the super full moon in the sign of Taurus, which is exact on Friday, November 5th, 2025 at 5:19 a.m. Pacific time. We have the sun in Scorpio opposing Luna in Taurus. As is always the case, the sun and the moon are opposite, which is what causes the fruitions, the culminations, the downloads, the insights that take place during full moons. And having Luna in Taurus, which is fixed feminine earth, Taurus ruled by Venus, brings a quality of patience, determination, steadfast determination. Also earth-based, down-to-earth determination. And while Taurus dislikes fast-moving change, it definitely appreciates its creature comforts. And this is kind of the perfect challenge for this moment on our planet. The challenge to slow down, the opportunity to be fully present. Taurus naturally keeps us from pushing. And that's part of the message of November overall, and also the rest of 2025. We're seeing the need for change all around us, but the idea of not pushing or forcing, instead being still, going within, trusting the flows of energy, trusting yourself, also taking care to consciously choose light and joy and love as we are birthing a new world, literally in these moments. And Lady Venus rules both Libra and Taurus. Venus brings that dose of justice and balance and harmony to the illumination of this super full moon. And a super full moon simply means that the moon is extra close to the earth, so it means that her vibes are extra intense. A couple of the things that are happening around the time of this new moon, just 2 days before, on November 3rd, we have 3i Atlas at its perihelion with Lady Venus. 3i Atlas is that comet that's behaving in a way unlike any other comet has behaved before. And many energy workers and astrologists are feeling into its energy as a consciousness upgrade. And a perihelion just means it's gonna get as close to Lady Venus as possible on the 3rd, 2 days before this full moon. And as we move through what's going on during this full moon, you'll see that Venus plays an important part in the energies that are here for us to take in. Also, just a couple days after this full moon, on the 8th of November, we have Uranus moving back into Taurus, out of Gemini into Taurus for one final pass until it fully enters into Gemini in 2026, April 2026. Uranus and Taurus gives us sort of these earthquake vibes. I would say, instead of fearing a physical earthquake, think about the energetic theme of what an earthquake means. It's a force of nature that is so far beyond human abilities. Men cannot control earthquakes. There's this otherworldly superpower aspect of this type of change, this type of shaking and quaking. But if we think about what an earthquake is, it's really Gaia herself holding herself in harmony, rebalancing, releasing tension. So from November into April, there are potentials for lightning bolts of sudden change. Uranus brings the types of change that we could not even imagine in ways that we cannot even begin to think about. Also, during this full moon, we have lots of planets at the anaretic degree of their sign. That is either the last degree of their sign or the first degrees of their sign. And these planets include Uranus, Neptune, Sedna, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. And this is going to give us this sort of extra dose of understanding and really viscerally feeling that we are living in transformational times. Moving out of one thing and into another. Moving out of one way of being and into another way of being. So I mentioned that Venus is quite active during this full moon. One of the reasons why that is the case is that she is in a T-square with Pluto and Jupiter. And this T-square is about, well, let's also mix in here that Venus is at the anaretic degree of Libra. She's about to move into Scorpio the very next day, November 6th. So while she's squaring Pluto, while she's squaring Jupiter, this is about justice and harmony, but how to achieve harmony and balance, informed by the challenges that we are experiencing. So again, it's very important for us to stay present, to look within for our inner truths, and to not simply seek to force change because we're tired of being uncomfortable. This is about a challenge to use our emotional intelligence for expansion. It's also a challenge to coexist as we co-create the world that we seek to live in the future and now. Venus is also the head of a yod, and you've heard me say that yods are super rare, and I've also talked about yods quite a bit in the last several months, and this is because of the minor triangle that is still active, and I've mentioned that it's been active through the end of all the end of 2025, and that is that all the outer planets are sextiling and trining each other. And because they're still sextiling and trining each other, they're creating a very stable base for a yod to be more active than usual. Let's just say that. So we have another yod, and Venus at the head of this yod is inviting us to, it's the apex of the energy. As she's at the last degrees of Libra, she's really inviting us to, again, look within. And the feet of the yod are Neptune and Saturn, the anaretic degrees of Pisces, as well as Uranus, which is now 0 degrees of Gemini. And so Uranus and Neptune and Saturn are communicating very smoothly and reminding us that there is so much more to this world, to ourselves as conscious creators. With Venus at the apex, this is showing us that the challenges that we are experiencing are perfectly placed and right on time. That all of these things that seem to maybe lack justice or lack harmony or lack that Venusian dose of beauty and love and grace, that they're perfectly placed to awaken us. And now we also have a grand trine. And a grand trine represents just a natural flow of energy and talent across the 3 points. It's a equilateral triangle in the chart. And it's usually all the planets, all those points are in the same sign. But because we have all of these planets at anaretic degrees, we actually have two elements involved. We have a fire-water grand trine. Pisces and Cancer are the water signs, and Sagittarius is adding a dose of fire. So this trine is going to merge fire's enthusiasm and action, which is Sag, with water's intuition and feeling, which is the Cancer-Pisces energetic. And while Mars and Mercury are the planets in Sagittarius, this is going to be sparking ideas, giving us an extra dose of courage, encouraging us to speak up and speak out and speak the truth that comes from within us. And the water energy is, we've got Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, and then we also have Jupiter and Cancer as a part of this equilateral triangle, and that is going to help us to deepen our empathy, deepen our emotional intelligence, trust our intuitive hits, and also give us a deep sense of devotion and care for the projects of change that are afoot. And together they have this wonderful current of intuitive intelligence, as if we're going to be able to speak our truth through our heart's inner knowing. And I want to talk a little bit about what Mars and Mercury in Sagittarius can offer us during this full moon. That's a kind of a dynamic intellect or an expressive drive. It's going to give us this sense of passion in our communication. Passion because it's what's coming from our heart. Passion because it's what's about why our soul's here. And Mercury in Sag is going to be big ideas. Mars in Sag is going to be conviction and motivated by the bigger picture, by pointing to the galactic center, remembering that we are so much more than just simply these bodies at this moment in time. We are conscious creators. And if we think about what Saturn and Neptune and Pisces have to add to this grand trine, Neptune and Pisces is about dissolving boundaries. Dissolving boundaries to open to mystical awareness. And Saturn in Pisces adds a wonderful element of structure to that awareness. It helps us to ground our dreams and our visions into this 3D physical world. And together, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, while they're only there for a little while before they move forward again, they're bringing this sense right now of both transcendent and tangible. That we can be the visionary, we can be the dreamer, but we can also be the manifester and the creator. And the other aspect of this equilateral triangle is Jupiter. Jupiter happens to be conjunct Procyon and Pollux in the sign of Cancer. And while Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, as I've mentioned before, it's a really nice energy for being both generous as well as protective, being both nurturing as well as having a deep sense of emotional wisdom. Procyon is the brightest star in Canis Minor, and it brings boldness and initiative and this sometimes volatility, but also there's a sense for quick change and lots of light. Pollux is the immortal twin in the constellation of Gemini, and this adds some depth to this energy, and it's going to help us amplify our capacity to guide and care for ourselves and others through experiences of duality, through these challenges that we might come across in our physical world. So the overall signature of this grand trine, this fire-water grand trine, is about inspired service and wisdom that comes from this inner knowing. And this is giving us both a challenge and a gift. Grand trines can sometimes feel so natural that the opportunities might be underused. But the challenge here is to engage this energy, to engage with what's present here, to speak our truth, to build inspired things in our world that serve the collective, and to protect and speak and teach from our heart. Now, it just so happens that this grand trine isn't just sitting there in the chart. We have a kite, and the kite is actually going to really help us to activate, and Pluto is a part of this kite. So it's as if Pluto is showing up in this particular configuration to really ensure that we are consciously working with the energy. And a kite takes the harmony and the talent of the trine, and it gives it the direction and the focus, and it's almost like evolutionary pressure from the planet at the point of the trine. And here it's Pluto opposing Jupiter. So while the trine kind of feels like an effortless flow, the kite adds the mission. It adds the goal, the something that compels us to use our consciousness, to use our creative gifts. And Pluto is the engine. Pluto's the magnet. Pluto's the point of awakening. Where the Grand Trine describes this sort of natural grace and talent, Pluto says, go deeper. Look within. There's so much more to be discovered. And to use what's happening around us to transform ourselves and to transform the world that we live in into the world we want to see. So Pluto is sextiling both the two ends of the trine, the Mars and Mercury in Sag end, as well as the Saturn and Neptune in Pisces end. And these act like two sort of energetic channels that focus all that creative and spiritual flow into this single transformative current. And so I want to really just kind of focus for a second on how Pluto's doing that. Pluto sextiling Mars and Mercury in Sagittarius. This is going to give us an extra dose of rocket fuel for our downloads, our mental bodies, our motivational power. So while Mars and Mercury and Sagittarius are inspired, Pluto's going to give them the depth. Pluto's going to give us the focus and the potency. It's going to give the potency to what? To our words, to our actions, to our vibrations, to everything we do, so that we're really going to get this sense that every single thing that we do has power, is a part of the transformation. And we're going to have this sense of knowing that the truth that we speak, our truth that we vibrate, is the catalyst for the change. And that we are going to come to understand that we have the capacity, and it's going to feel like this inspired knowing, we have the capacity to inspire others to awaken, to inspire others to lighten up their vibration, or to channel visionary ideas. So we are the change, we are the leaders, we are the example. So there's this kind of refinement of our drive. And it's not just idealistic enthusiasm, it's about this kind of surgical precision of purpose. And Pluto's also sextiling, as I mentioned, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And in here, Pluto's going to inspire our spiritual discipline and our creative manifestation. So Saturn and Neptune, bridges the dream and the reality, but Pluto gives the process this sort of regenerative strength and this integrity. And it's going to allow us to feel that and know that we have the capacity to be the change, to build this sort of, instead of top-down structures, which is Pluto in Capricorn, we're now at Pluto in Aquarius, which is about circular structures that serve the collective. Healing systems, spiritual practices, maybe art forms that are awakening human consciousness. So this particular combination in this kite gives us this kind of intuitive psychic depth, or maybe this sense of really knowing from within what is true for our soul. And we're not just dreaming of change. We're birthing it right now. We're the midwife birthing this change into being. Now, Pluto is also in this kite. That means it's opposite Jupiter and Procyon and Pollux in Cancer. And so this is the axis of growth. And this is the axis of growth through both power and emotional intelligence. While Jupiter in Cancer is intuitively kind of expanding through love and protection and empathy, Pluto is sort of demanding emotional integrity, boundaries, as well as regeneration. So this opposition of Pluto and Jupiter is kind of compelling this sort of balance between nurturing and empowering, between safety and transformation. And so this might really open up some doors for us to be the catalyst and to support others through change. There's this sense that we first take care of ourselves, and then we are able to support and nurture and activate others. So, I want to touch back on Venus before we're done, because Lady Venus is in that T-square with Pluto and with Jupiter. So she's actually also pulling on a part of this kite energy. And so this, Venus is really forming the part of that challenge opposition, that activating opposition in this kite. And this is about, she's saying, reminding us to turn inward and to really sit with what we know to be true, to not just go on autopilot and to not just react, but to really, in the stillness, really energetically understand what is true for us. And the truth that she's reminding us is that our light can never be extinguished, and that tending to our light, tending to our inner flame is what makes it shine even brighter. And Venus is reminding us that we do not need to create our worth or our worthiness for who we are and the change we seek. We simply need to uncover it and connect with it. And that's this notion of the flame within. And before we get to a meditation, I want to offer a quote from Edgar Cayce. It's one of his quotes when he's talking about times of transformation. He says, "Destruction and creation, when joined by wisdom, give birth to renewal." And so there's this sense of this need for, Venus is here to remind us of the need for wisdom. So is Pluto. All these aspects of these planets are reminding us to look within and to trust that what we know to be true is precisely the antidote for ourselves and for those around us. And the truth doesn't need to be loud. It can be quiet and steady, like the flame that never goes out, like the flame that is within us. So before we get to meditation, I want to invite you to a 4-day, 4 Saturdays in a row. I'm offering a free, super cool event. And all you have to do to reserve your spot is to right now be a part of my email list. And I will send you all the links. And it's a 4-day online workshop series where I'm going to be moving you through some hands-on herbal techniques so that you can build your own herbal home apothecary. I'm also going to be doing some lunar and astrological forecasting, as well as guided meditation and energy clearing. Every Saturday, there's something of all of those things, and we're going to be really building our toolkit right now, because if as this full moon is activating us to tend to ourselves so that we can then support others, serve others, I really feel called to support us all in expanding our toolkit for how we can support ourselves and support others and really, truly be the change. So just make sure you're on my email list and you'll get all the information. All right, so let's go ahead and find somewhere where you can sit or lie comfortably and where you won't be disturbed for the next little bit of time. And go ahead and take a nice deep breath as you begin to settle in. Breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Again, breathing in, coming present. Breathing out, letting go. Inhaling one more time, just a nice, deeper, easy breath. And exhale. And I invite you now to take a journey with me. I invite you to imagine that you're standing outside at night on a mountaintop beneath the full moon. And as you look up at Luna, you can see her light beaming down. On the top of this mountain, you can see the plants, and you can see that there's a path through the brush and the greenery at the top of this mountain. And you instinctively start to walk along this path. And as you're walking along this path, you're simply breathing in the crisp, fresh night air. So take a nice deep breath in. And as you're breathing in, allow that breath to support you in coming present. And breathing out. And imagine that you're walking barefoot. Your feet are on the earth. The earth is just the perfect temperature, and you can connect to the energy of Mother Earth. Breathing in again, taking in the light of the moon, taking in the crisp, fresh mountain air. And allow that breath to, again, just bring you into the beauty of this moment. And as you're walking, often the top of the mountain, you see a dim light. And you notice this path is leading you towards this dim light. And you're walking barefoot, simply soaking in, taking in the beauty of this night sky. Walking towards this dim light that turns out to be an opening, an entrance into the mountain itself. Notice what color the light is. Maybe it's orange, maybe it's blue, maybe it's golden light. Whatever color it is instinctively showing you that there's an invitation, that this is a portal of sorts for you to head in to the womb of the mountain. And as you walk in, the light is amplified by candles that are on the wall, and they're sort of guiding you down this path into the womb of this mountain. And you go down, down, down into this sort of cathedral opening. And you walk into this open space within the mountain. And notice what's at the center of the room. Is there a chair? Is there a rug? There's something that's inviting you to take a seat. And you're looking around as you're coming to sit comfortably, and notice again the candles and any other gemstones or things that are glistening to welcome you into this space. And it somehow feels that this space has been created specifically for you. Maybe the light shifts, maybe it changes color, maybe it amplifies. And even though with all the sparkles and the light, there's this sense of stillness in the womb of this mountain, in this cavern or cave or cathedral, there's this deep silence. And now as you take a breath in, breathe in. And instinctively, you're closing your eyes and you're drawing within. You're moved within to the flame that is within your heart. Inhaling again, connect that flame within your heart. And as you exhale, release anything that's heavy, anything that's fearful, anything that's distracting. So that all you're doing right now is just connecting to your light, to the flame within your heart. And as you're looking within, eyes closed, breathing in, you can start to sense that this light within your heart is growing as your consciousness tends to it. And exhale is just the opportunity to let go. And we'll take a few more breaths here, simply eyes closed, connecting to that light at the center of your chest. Again, notice what color it is. Gold, green, pink, blue. Maybe if it shifts colors, maybe if it's multicolored. There's no wrong quality of light. This is quintessentially the light that's within your heart. And imagine now that this light is growing, and it's not just taking up your chest, but it's starting to amplify and fill your entire energetic field. So now you're not just connected to the light within you, but now you're just being bathed in this light. all the cells of your body, all the aspects of your energetic being are being imbued with the quality of the light from your heart, your essence. And just spend a few more moments here just being in that space. And again, noticing the quality of the light, the color of the light, the intensity or the softness of the light that is you. And now, as you can really sense this essence of your light, you open your eyes. And as you look around this cathedral, this cavern, all the lights and all the glistening stones on the wall are amplifying and reflecting back to you that exact quality of light. So that now, not just your aura, but this entire cavern, cathedral, in the womb of this mountain is just amplifying and humming with this light. It's as if Gaia herself has been waiting for you and knows you, which she does. And this particular mountain cavern has been waiting for you for this moment in time, so that you can come to know that your light isn't just nourishing for you, but it's seen and it's celebrated by everything. And so now, just as you're looking around, witness the beauty of this light. Let it continue to amplify. In whatever way it's amplifying, if it's soothing you, that's wonderful. If it's motivating you, that's wonderful too. If it's giving you a sense of deep wisdom, there's no wrong quality of light. There's just simply feeling your light being celebrated and amplified. And really take in as if this is a celebration. This particular cavern and cathedral has been waiting for you to arrive so that it can be activated. And it's your presence, your light, that is activating it. Take that in. You are that special and that powerful. Wonderful. We'll spend a few more moments here. Just imagine that all of this light is being, as if it's being sealed in every cell of your being, in every part of your aura, that you're coming to know that your light and your truth and your essence are so special and so powerful and so precisely what the world needs right now. And when you're ready, you can send a pulse of gratitude from your heart into this cavern, this cathedral, this womb, and this mountain. Thank you for seeing me and celebrating me. And you can begin your walk back up, just the same path that you came in on, up and out of the mountain with the candles lighting you on your way up, and feel yourself as if you're just humming or floating your way up. And as you exit the womb of the mountain, you come to stand again, barefoot, feet on the earth, gazing up at the moon, lifting your third eye and your heart up to Luna herself. Receiving any other download, sending a pulse of gratitude to her for this beautiful opportunity of revelation and integration and activation. To the light that has always been within you. and feel the truth that now is the time to share your light. Wonderful. Coming back into the space and the place wherever you're listening to this meditation, wherever you're seated. Maybe you wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe you just open your eyes and have a look around and feel the truth of your light. Feel this shift, this activation in the quality of your energy. And set the intention, if you feel like it, to carry this light with you everywhere you go. And also know that if you need a reminder or another activation, you can come back and repeat this meditation anytime. This full moon, while it's exact on November 5th, trust that you'll find this and you'll remember this, and this is going to be something you can come back to again and again and again. Thank you. We are truly weaving a web of light. And I like to remind us that this isn't a singular experience. There are thousands and thousands of people around the world that are doing this meditation, and that is something that is so powerful. Have a blessed full moon, bright blessings, and so much love.